Hi all, we are very happy to be having Shreya today with us on the Student Circle. So to start off, let me give a quick intro of what is Student Circle. So here we are just trying to bring in students from different backgrounds, understand what other students are doing, what are they learning, in college, out of college, what are the side hustles they are looking into, just to get an understanding of what the other students are doing. So that is the main idea of Student Circle. We are looking to tap the peer knowledge here. So the video we are going to have like 10 series video interviews with different kind of students from totally different backgrounds for you to understand how the world is outside for you than just college. So here today we have Shreya. So Shreya is a LinkedIn influencer who has 30 plus followers just on LinkedIn, and she's like an awesome content writer. Like she has a huge followers there. So over to you, Shreya. Like, can you give us a quick intro about yourself, please?
Thanks for having me, first of all. Thanks, Janani. So I am a student. I'm a freelance content writer. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm studying English and philosophy at Trinity College Dublin in Ireland. And yeah, I have, it's been an amazing experience just, trying to get the most of the student life. And as they say, making the most of your college years and, trying to get as many things done as possible. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's awesome, Shreya. So we'll quickly jump on to a couple of questions that we have. So the first thing that I want to understand is like from your school, I think you're from school to college. What was your transition like? How is like things different there? What are something new things that you're exploring? Can you just talk about that?
So I did my schooling in Mumbai in India, and I was there until like 12th grade, high school, and I took up science initially because I wanted to be a doctor,
Oh,
and I changed my mind pretty much, just right before I had to make a big decision of which college to go to, and I told my parents, and it was an okay from everyone, so I shifted gears, and I went in for English and philosophy, and I chose to move abroad because the course that I wanted to do, I really wanted to pursue it abroad, and Trinity is one of the top universities for English especially, so I really wanted to be a part of this legacy that Trinity has. And yeah, so like it was sort of an overnight decision as such to just make that shift, but of course there was like years and years of interest and passion in writing, and even more months and months of figuring out the college and trying to apply and getting things all in place. But yeah, like it's different here, especially the kind of teaching style is very different. But then again, my course has shifted completely. I was doing science, now I'm doing arts, and in arts, like we have a lot of independent thinking is encouraged. So it's not just about reading the books and trying to put your point, like put the author's point forward. It's about actively engaging with the content and like really getting yourselves involved in it. And I really enjoy that kind of education system, so yeah, I
yeah,
like it.
actually, it shows very well in your content, right? I do keep following you on LinkedIn, and like all your content gets so much engagement. It's so much lively. There's so much life into the content that you have. And I think from being a doctor to like arts is, I think it's a completely shifting gears, right? So probably I think you've got a lot of passion for learning. I mean, English especially, right?
Yeah.
So overall, what is your kind of goal? So I mean, towards what are you going? What is your end goal, or do you have a higher vision? Of what's the plan there?
So I do not have any like goal as such, like nothing specific,
Okay.
mainly because things change every single day.
Mhm.
When I was in school, I wanted to be a doctor. High school, I took medicine, like took science and everything, but then I decided I want to be a writer. And I joined Trinity, like again an overnight decision. Joined Trinity, moved across the world, and I fell into freelancing. Luckily, somehow it worked out. And so now I'm a freelance writer. I didn't know I would do that. So
Okay.
I'm not sure, how things will lead. But I think, like, my goal overall is, basic, to be happy, to have enough, to be able to provide for everyone. And maybe a little more than enough, because, why not? So
Yeah.
yeah, those are my goals.
Yeah, probably like too. I think it's too early for you to decide on something big. Also, I think, but you're already on the right track and doing a lot of things that probably will get you eventually into something on the right track. So, generally, in what are your general activities like apart from college, right? So you said you are into freelancing and then you are a entrepreneur. So, what is your generally a day like? What are the different things that you tend to do over a day?
So now, of course, my days have drastically changed. I'm home all the time.
Right.
But like normally when I have college, so first of all, my lectures are pretty light because it's a very text and reading oriented course. So I tend to have like say 15 or 20 hours a week of
Mm-hmm.
lectures,
Mm-hmm.
and that leaves me with a lot of time to really engage with other things in college, outside college, work generally, things like that. And so of course I'm very involved in all university activities, competitions, like recently I can say that I'm an entrepreneur because I pitched my startup at Dragon's Den in college,
Oh,
and I won there. Like I won a runners up, and that's when I decided that this is something I want to do.
okay.
And so usually it's the same thing, attend college, spend the day in college because there's so much happening. It's a huge university and there's so many people. Come back home and work, and then cook dinner while working maybe. Finish the work, eat dinner, watch something, and go to sleep. And normally weekends are for studying, just so that it's all balanced out properly. But yeah, that's my average week. But yeah, no day is similar, so I can't say I have a routine. I just try
Right.
to make the most of whatever I can.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, see, apart from college, you're trying to do a lot of other things, right? You're trying to involve yourself in like after college activities, and as you said, like entrepreneur. So, what is something that keeps you going with all of this? Like, what is your motivation factor? Why do you like to do all of this?
I think especially with my university, I think the number one motivation factor is you don't know who you're going to meet,
Hmm.
because we have so many people coming in every single day, and meeting such people can actually change your life.
Right.
Because I met like the former CEO of LinkedIn, Jeff Weiner. I met him in university.
I did
I
see.
wrote
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, I wrote about it. The post went viral. So it was that one meeting that completely changed my life.
Hmm.
And that's how you end up finding me, and that's how I am known. So yeah, I think just knowing that if you just keep showing up, something it might work out for you. I think that's important, and that's enough motivation for me.
Yeah, so you already spoke about your achieve. I mean, your you winning the competition hackathon, right? So, is there any other like? Do you want to share about a couple of your achievements? See, we're just trying to like give some inspiration to the rest of the students, where people need to draw inspiration from others, right? And I think for students, drawing inspiration from the other students could be best working out, right? So, is there some achievements that you want to talk about?
So I think, I mean, one thing I would like to like share with students generally is that achievements are like, something that you end up getting over time. And not everything is an achievement, because we put out so many achievements out there, but there's a lot of hard work and a lot of ups and downs that go into getting that. So if you are like stuck in the ups and downs, like don't be disheartened, it works out. So some things like some recent things that I did was I was part of the Trinity Employability Award. So
Mm-hmm.
this was like a 6 month long, workshop and that kind of like, sessions kind of thing, like
Okay.
once a month or something. And we had some assignments to submit. We had a presentation to make, and finally I was selected for the level 3. Like only like 4 students were selected, 4 or 5, and I was one of them. And I pitched my recommendation to KPMG in Dublin,
Oh, okay.
and so it was for one of their clients,
Mm-hmm.
and I won. So I won an internship with them, and a cash prize and things like that. So that was of course a very good experience, because I really like presenting and pitching and public speaking. So that was great to go to the KPMG head office and be able to do that. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
And like I have been a part of a lot of, we have a lot of hackathons, usually once a year at least. So in the past 2 years, like I was a part of a hackathon that was aiming to hack homelessness. So
Okay.
formed, and we came up with a solution for that as a team. Like as a new team, we didn't know we didn't know each other, but we just came up with something. I was part of the Dragon's Den earlier this year, and there were like 3 or 4 rounds, and I made it to the final round, and I won a funding of 2,500 euros, and that's like to kickstart my startup. It's called Doozy, and it's for it's around freelancing and to make freelancing easier, and like the freelancing and client association easier,
Okay.
and to make the work seamless, because right now it's just such a pain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's that's a few things that I've been up to.
Yeah,
Like I've
that's really
been
awesome.
up, yeah.
Yeah, can you I mean, I'm just intrigued. How can you talk about your startup a little bit? What it is, what you're doing there? Do you want to give us some information there?
So the startup was actually more like a 3 a.m. idea. I was back from college and I was working, and it was just a very overwhelming day
Mm-hmm.
generally. And I was back home very late, but I had to get some things done. So I was working all dead tired.
Okay.
And while working, I realized, ended up having like 10, 15 tabs open,
Okay.
all of the same document, similar document. And then I was doing something on my phone, and trying to keep messaging my client through my phone, and then checking emails and working through my laptop, and there were just so many things going on. And I just stopped for a minute. I was like, it doesn't have to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the work is too much, it's that I make it too much because I'm dependent on so many things. So yeah, so the solution is, to make something that's compact and that allows all the client and freelance work to be from one place, rather than, using 10, 15 different apps and just paying for each subscription or whatever. So yeah, that's just to make life easier for everyone
Yeah.
around.
That does seem very interesting. So we look forward to hear more on that from you on your LinkedIn post. So is there any one specific LinkedIn post that your post that you like a lot, like anything that you want to mention specially?
I think I like all my posts. I mean, not because in terms of how they do or how I write, but
Mhm.
mainly because each post has its different impact.
Right.
And I could have a favorite post from like a year ago. Like, of
Mhm.
course, my first viral post is definitely something very memorable for me. But it's like if I didn't keep writing, I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have
Right.
had everything that I do have. So I don't, you know, I think every favorite post is just like the next one I'll write, because that's going to do better for me. So
Right, right. So,
yeah.
how important you think LinkedIn is for students? Like in LinkedIn, you don't see that many students, right? People use it more for professional, yes, as professionals. But these days, I do see there are a little
Yeah,
more students coming into LinkedIn. But what's your take on that? What do you think LinkedIn is more important for students?
I think it is important. If not for putting out content, not everyone has to put out content, or not everyone has freelancing services to offer.
Mhm.
But just to be there, just to have like a portfolio of your achievements, of what you're up to, and just build that network and community. And if you're not doing something yourself, just have a profile, look at what others are doing, try to understand how the world works, and what people are following, what people are recognizing, what people find worth leaving a like on or leaving a comment on. And I think a lot of people skills come from that kind of engagement on LinkedIn.
Right.
So yeah, even if you're a student, you don't have to sell something, you don't have to be a business person, you just have to be on LinkedIn and try to make the most of it as you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, I think it's more important just to be there and just to be aware of what is happening in the ecosystem. You definitely get a lot, learn a lot from others, right? Just by networking, you
Yeah,
get to see what they share, what kind of learnings is going on. So that'll all give you a lot of better idea. I think there should be more students coming on LinkedIn and using the platform much more effectively. Uh,
yeah.
do you have any book recommendation, like one book that you would recommend for students specifically?
mm, I'm not sure, like so I started studying philosophy here, but I had never studied philosophy in my life. So one of
Okay.
the books I really enjoyed reading was Sophie's World.
Okay.
And it's a very nice book. I mean, it has a lot about philosophy, about history, about current situations. And I mean, it's an old book, but
Mm.
it's pretty good.
Okay.
And it has this like young girl who's trying to figure out her life, and she
Mhm.
gives her perspective on philosophy, while then there's an older guy who like writes her letters and he teaches her philosophy. So it's just a very different kind of book, and it's so engaging because you see so many perspectives in that one book.
Okay.
And if I had to recommend like a good read, I would definitely recommend that book. So Sophie's World.
That's interesting. Even probably even I'll read it for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, and I think one last question that I have is, what is one important advice, or like what would you give information that you would want to share to the rest of the students? Like one piece of advice that you would think you knew before that you started off as a student, right? Like probably before getting into college, you would be, maybe I knew, if I knew this earlier, it would have been better. Or in general, any one piece of advice that you want to give to the rest of the students here.
The best suggestion I would give for any student is that you should stop thinking that you're too young to do something. Because we often have that notion that, oh, I'm just 15, I'm just 18, I'm just 20, I'm just 25, but the world moves much faster.
I know, right?
And the younger you start, like even if you look at so many celebrities who've ended up being successful, musicians, sports persons, anybody you look at, they have started young, and that's given them time to make more mistakes and learn more, so that by the time they were, say, like 20, 25, they knew exactly what to do.
Exactly.
And that's how people get successful. So just don't be scared because you're younger. I mean, you fail, that's a part of life sometimes, and you succeed, that is also a part of life. So either ways, just keep going, and things will figure themselves out for you.
That's awesome. That's actually something people really need, and you put it out so nicely. And yeah, I think pretty much that's what we had. Thanks a lot, Shreya. It was really, really good talking to you. Like, I mean, even if we have, I mean, even if I am like 10 years into the IT industry, and it's like long way from being a student, but like I could relate so many things that you said, and I wish I knew all of this much earlier. So I could have started all of this much earlier. But yeah, it's never late. But yeah, thank you so much for being today as part of the show.
Thanks for inviting me, Janani. This was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much.